Hello. Hello, this is the My Artifact episode number 3671. Today's date is October 27, 2025. It's been almost like a night at 10:48 p.m. Alright, let's just jump into the question. Let's go. Okay, question is, what if everyone could perfectly control their emotions? Okay, that is a really good question. Okay, first of all, what exactly is this question and why am I asking this question to myself? This is what if question. Why am I asking this question to myself? What if question is always really interested way to give the answer. It kind of like actually force you to think about that reality and try to create the reality according to the knowledge that you have. Now it's kind of like a feel really good when I try to explain this stuff. Okay. Disclaimer: the information that I'm trying to tell you is not exactly right or is not exactly wrong either. It is just my opinion. Okay, yeah, it's raw, it's unfiltered. So do not seek this information or do not believe in any kind of like information that I'm trying to tell you. I'm just giving my opinion. Okay, yeah. An opinion should supposed to be kind of like a vague or unclear or unfiltered. Alright. Now if you are if you are good, now let's proceed. I don't know why, but I'm kind of like a bitterly fumble right now. Okay, yeah, I don't know why. Okay, the question is, what if everyone could perfectly control their emotions? Okay, that is a really good question. Okay, yeah. What is exactly emotions? Yeah, first of all, let's just ask this question to ourselves that what is exactly emotions? Emotions means like that the way that we express our thoughts and stuff like that. Okay, we have multiple forms of emotions like happiness, sadness, anxiety, excited, um, feel good, love, okay, angry, horny. These are kind of like some emotions that we have. There are so many emotions that we have. Okay, yeah. Why we have emotions? Well, basically these are emotions. Why we have emotions? Yes, I think that na ki probably it yeah. Why we have emotions? Yeah, like basically, does any species have the emotion? Well, I have a dog. Okay, yeah. Like basically, my sister has a dog. Okay, and basically that dog is literally scared when fire is actually like basically when the Diwali fataki is actually kind of like a crackers and cracks and stuff like that. My dogs are bitterly scared. Okay, yeah. So basically, dog has emotions. Probably somewhat something. Can any species has kind of like only any emotions? Like till the knowledge that I have, like basically I kind of like somebody watch so many YouTube videos regarding about that, and I would make sure that yes, all the species have some sort of emotions, even more than that emotions. Like basically, the blue whale is a kind of like a very emotional species. Okay, yeah, blue whale, yeah. uh, at least like every species has kind of like some sort of emotions. Okay, now the question is that why does we have emotions or why does any species has emotion? What does they do? Emotion is kind of like a make them alive. If you are if you are not having food, you are get hungry. Okay, yeah. If you are really horny, you are like basically what I'm trying to tell you is this thing ki those are emotions that we have which are kind of like a leads to survive on this planet. Okay, yeah. Like basically we get so much hungry because we need food, and when we get hungry, that means emotions, that means we need a food. So when we eat food, we not only kind of like somebody survive for that day, but as well as kind of like only making sure that how do we supposed to get the food for next day. Okay, yeah. So basically, is this thing being a kind of like a somebody hungry is kind of like a somebody really important, essential for getting a food, right? We became horny is also really emotion too. Okay, like basically when we get horny, we kind of like had a sex or do a sex, and when we do a sex, we will kind of like create a new life in on the planet. This will kind of like leads to the growth of population. Okay, yeah. So having a horny emotion is somewhat something really essential to create a new life. If we not get horny, how do we supposed to kind of like somebody enthusiastic for having a sex? By the way, sex is the kind of like somebody very like a not good thing. Not good thing means like that ki from hygienic point of perspective that is not okay, yeah. But still people are kind of like a do the sex because it's kind of like they are loving it. Okay, yeah, and it's really good. It felt really good. Okay, yeah. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: the emotions that we have is not for kind of like a somebody just express our thoughts and things like that. These are emotions that we have is for surviving on this planet. Okay, yeah, we get hungry, we get food, we get horny, we get sex, lot of stuff. Okay, yeah, and these are emotions are kind of like a somebody really essential for human growth. I'm not really sure about the kind of like how much it add value to the another species, but it kind of like add value to the human because we are utilizing our human emotion for emotional intelligence. Okay, yeah, our emotional intelligence are actually associate like our intelligence are actually attached with our emotion very much deeply. Okay, yeah. So yeah, that's why we have emotions. All right. Yeah. Now let's just understand what if kind of like a somebody we decrease, like what if everyone control their emotions. Okay, yeah. Now what is exactly meaning of control the emotion? A control emotion means like that ki like we are kind of like a letting our control our emotion. Now what is actually control of emotions means what? Let's just say that ki I am really angry at somebody. Okay, yeah. So what would I supposed to do? If I'm angry, I would kind of like actually not talk with him. Okay, yeah. If I'm very angry, then I would fight with him. If I'm very, very angry, I would kill him. Right? So this is what kind of like only every emotion states comes with the different consequences of our action. Right? If I'm angry, I will not talk to him. If I'm very angry, I will fight with him. If I'm very, very angry, I would kill him. Right? So this is kind of like a only multiple layers of emotions let kind of like a do the action inside our head. Like the it kind of like a it would kind of like a lead the consequences that what kind of like action should we supposed to be do. Right? Yeah. So over emotion is not really good thing too. Okay, yeah. Now this is also happen when we are kind of like a somebody angry. Let's just say that ki we are kind of like a somebody very much kind of like a somebody say like a basically every emotions is kind of like a excessive amount of emotion is also really not good. Okay, yeah, because sometimes excessive amount of emotions kind of like simply leads you to not having logical reasoning thought process. Okay, yeah, because let me tell you one thing: if I'm literally angry at particular person, I would not talk to him, right? And that is a kind of like a simply very logical answer. Okay, yeah, but if I'm very angry and I would fight with him, then this is not really logical answer because fighting creates the consequences. I would hit him, he would hit me, probably it would kind of like a not good for both the party. Okay, and if I'm very very angry and I would kind of like a kill him, then it was kind of like a something illogical, like completely illogical, like basically there is no meaning at all, like there is no logic behind it. Why do you kill that particular person when you have too much angry? It's yeah, because when you kill that particular person, your life will be ruined. You have to went to the jail and stuff like that. Okay. So this is not actually good, na? Okay. So having complete control of emotion is also really essential for human thing. Alright. Now you understand what is actually emotion, why we have emotions, and why we have complete control of emotions. Okay. Control of emotions is somewhat something really essential. Okay, yeah. Now, basically, is this thing that ki, what if we could kind of like control our emotions? Then what would be that world? Well, probably one thing is that ki we would not get that much angry. Okay, yeah. Angry is a kind of like one of the kind of like such a emotions that kind of like a leads to kind of like a something really not good thing. Like it could kind of like a leads to consequences to kind of like a something such a thing that create chaos in our society and stuff like that. So it is really essential to not to do that thing. Okay, yeah. um when you have complete control of emotions, we would kind of like think about logical point of perspective. Like basically is this thing, when we are too angry or too sad, we kind of like quit the job. Okay, yeah. But when we have complete control of our emotions, we will kind of like actually making sure a possible way that how do we supposed to quit the job that will kind of like actually not will gonna affect me, but as well as I will quit the job too. So probably instead of quitting today, I will making sure that I will have kind of like a backup regarding about having another job, or kind of like another recommendation letter. And when I have that recommendation letter or any kind of like some job opportunity that I will get, I will quit this job. So probably is this thing, at first attempt I just quit the job, but when I have complete control of our emotions, my emotions, I would kind of like think about a logical perspective, that how do I supposed to quit my job. I have to quit the job. This is the kind of like a final answer, that I have to quit my job. But I'm kind of like making sure that I would have kind of like other resources that fulfill my needs, right? So logical reasoning will kind of like somebody taking understand that what kind of like matter to me, and how do I supposed to execute my actions, right? Okay. Now this is what kind of like assembly leads to really good. Okay. So when we have complete control of our emotion, we are very much organized. We are kind of like assembly thinking about every possible way. We are thinking about all the logical perspective that leads to us to grow, right? I don't know why I'm really tired today. I wanted to talk, but it's just like that I'm somewhat something tired, and I am wanted to, yeah. But I think that ki having a complete control of emotions, that is also not good too. Okay, yeah. Because our society or any kind of like our societies actually grow is because of having different perspective of the people. Okay, yeah. Like basically is this thing, having too much amount of anger is kind of like a creates a economy, that how do you supposed to control our anger. Like basically is this thing na ki, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing. The world that we are living today is a kind of like a cluster of all the emotions and things like that. Obviously, is this thing that key, let's just say a World War II is actually happened. It's kind of like a somebody very devastating event is actually happening in our human history. Millions of people are die is because of having a kind of like a somebody anger, is also kind of like a somebody emotion too, right? Which kind of like a leads to world war, right? Which kind of like a leads to kind of like an atomic bomb and things and that, right? But because of this thing, if I'm gonna say that ki the world war is kind of like very devastating and things and that, and this kind of like a sort of emotion is not really good and stuff like that. But because of the World War II, there are lot of positive changes. There are a lot of positive changes that actually happen. Okay, yeah, we create the United Nation, we create the kind of like a some peace. Okay, we understand what is actually consequences of our war and how do we supposed to stop that thing. And it is kind of like somewhat something really essential. Let's just say let's take another example, envy. Okay, yeah, envy means jealous. Okay, yeah, in Cold War, the US and Russia are bitterly envy at each other regarding about the technology. Okay, yeah, every Russia and US are, they wanted to kind of like simply improve their technology as much as they want. And one sector that kind of like leads so much amount of technology is going to the space, a moon, right? So basically in the Cold War, US and Russia are having a kind of like a race, a competition. In that particular competition, which country will kind of like went into the moon or went into the space. So Russia and Russia and US are kind of like simply going to the space and stuff like that, which will kind of like creates a kind of like a competition, and that competition makes makes a person went to moon. Okay, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing: a person is actually went to moon is started is because of the envy. Okay, like basically is this thing, the Russian people envy at US and US people are actually envy at Russian. So basically somewhat something are wrong emotions or kind of like having too much amount of emotions, which also leads to kind of like a growth too. Okay, yeah. So this is somewhat something matter. Okay, like basically having complete control of emotions it is somewhat something, yeah, it kind of like add value, but sometimes it kind of like somebody degrades the value too. Okay, yeah, like basically when we have complete control of our emotions, we became mellow, we became logical, we became boring probably. Okay, yeah, because let's just say that very angry people or very enthusiastic people are very interesting people, right? And we just kind of like a love to hang out with those and stuff like that. We know those people are not really good, those people are not really thinking about their logical perspective, but it's really good. It kind of like something we just love them. Okay, somewhat something like we just, I don't know how do I supposed to explain this stuff, but you actually feel that, I actually feel that stuff. I and you are humans, and somewhat something we understand each other is because of that we actually experience that moment. We also have a kind of like some sort of toxic friend who is kind of like a really toxic, but somewhat something that is matter because it kind of like adds some certain value. And that is what it is, like it is that like basically having different emotions of the people which will kind of lead to growth, and that is what matter. Okay, yeah, so having complete control of our emotion, we shouldn't supposed to seek for that. Okay, yeah, like basically yes, like having complete control of emotion which kind of like leads to growth and things which is really good too, but somewhat something uncontrolled emotions are also leads to growth too in society. So yeah, so probably what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that ki, should we supposed to have complete control of our emotions? Well, I would not accept that. Like basically is this thing controlling our emotions, like our emotions are kind of like simply surrounded by who are, what we are, and what kind of like simply the environment that we are grew up. Let's just say that I am very calm person. My father is very calm person too. Yes, I'm kind of like a very journally and very genetically very calm person. Okay, because my father is actually calm person and I carry my father traits. Okay, yeah. My mother is bitterly impulsive. Okay, yeah, but as kind of like something, I carry my father this trait as a calmness. My sister actually carry my mother's impulsive trademark. Okay, yeah. So I'm very much calm. Okay. So basically, what I'm trying to tell you is this thing. I would kind of like think about every perspective of the logical perspective regarding about how do we solve the solutions and things and that and that. Okay, yeah. But I realize that because of I'm very calm, I am not that much interesting. Yeah, like basically my emotions are very much mellow, or I'm kind of like somebody have just one single face. I would not like basically in my entire bit of lifetime, I never really seen myself that much angry, or I never really seen myself that much happy too. Yes, it doesn't mean that I'm not angry. It doesn't mean that I'm not happy. No, I'm getting angry too. I am getting happy too. But compared to the other people, very less. I never really had a fight with anyone at all. I never really have kind of like a something happiest moment with anyone at all. Yes, I do happy. I don't know how do I supposed to explain this thing, but because of I'm literally very much calm person, I am became little bit boring, somewhat something. Yeah, and I understand that. Okay, because I kind of like think about a logical point of perspective, and that is somewhat something make me bore probably. So what I'm trying to tell you is this thing that key having complete control of emotions is not a kind of like a single goal that you have to be achieved. Just proud who you are and what you are, and just accept the reality. Accept who you are, and probably this is the thing that I wanted to say. Okay, yeah. So this is I should supposed to be in here. I'm really tired. I don't know why, but yes, maybe yesterday I sleep. Yeah, I sleep very much properly. I sleep for almost like a 7 hour yesterday. Whatever. This is it. Thank you.